Okay, I want you to picture a city that is confusing in the best possible way.
Okay.
Seriously. On the surface, it looks like a pastel-colored wedding cake. We're talking Baroque palaces, roses everywhere, that classic little Vienna vibe where everything feels very, imperial and polite.
Right, very Habsburg.
But then you peel back just one layer, and you find the gritty, industrial ground zero of a violent revolution that took down one of Eastern Europe's most feared dictators.
It is a striking duality. We are talking about Timisoara in Romania.
Right.
It's a place that I think often gets skipped over for Bucharest or, all the vampire tourism in Transylvania.
Right, the Dracula stuff.
Exactly. But if you actually care about modern European history or just really, really good architecture, this is the city that matters.
It's basically the city of flowers meets hardcore resistance. And for this deep dive, we're going to explore how this single city in Western Romania just perfectly captures that collision of the Habsburg Empire, dark communist history, and this really vibrant, modern capital of culture energy that's happening right now.
Yeah, and to get a handle on this, we've pulled from a pretty wide stack of sources. We've got travel guides from trip.com, and visit Timisoara for the current season, historical archives on the 1989 revolution.
Some really specific architectural tour manifestos, too.
Right, and even some local nightlife reviews.
I am seeing a lot of mentions of cheese donuts in the research, which I promise we will get to.
Papanasi.
Yes, the Papanasi. But I'm also seeing a museum located inside a bar, which is amazing, and a story about a priest who, accidentally started an uprising?
Well, accidentally might be a stretch, is more of a breaking point. But yeah, Timisoara is unique because of its position. It sits right on the western edge of Romania.
Okay.
For decades, it was the bridge to the west. And that geography isn't just trivia, it's the reason it became, and this is a key phrase, the first city free of communism. But you can't understand the revolution until you understand the stage it was played on.
So let's map this out then. The layout of the city center seems to tell the story of who was in charge at any given time. The sources describe 3 main squares, and they have totally different personalities.
Think of them as time capsules. You start with Piața Unirii or Union Square. This is the little Vienna part.
It's the postcard shot. It's the old fortress court. You have these massive candy-colored buildings, pinks, yellows, greens. But looking at the map, the placement of the churches is interesting. They aren't hidden away, they're dominant.
And that's completely intentional. You have the Roman Catholic Cathedral facing the Serbian Orthodox Cathedral. They are literally staring at each other across the square.
Wow.
It's a physical manifestation of the city's historical diversity.
And smack in the middle is the Trinity Monument. It feels very 18th century Habsburg.
That's because it is. After the Austrians drove the Ottomans out, they didn't just patch up the city. They rebuilt it to look like a miniature version of the imperial capital. They wanted to project order and civilization. But if you walk just a little south, you hit Piața Victoriei, Victory Square, and the whole mood shifts.
This feels less like a drawing room and more like a stage. It's anchored on one end by the Opera House and on the other by the Orthodox Metropolitan Cathedral. And I have to say, that cathedral does not look Austrian.
No, not at all. It's distinctly Romanian, and Byzantine style, built much later in the 1930s and 40s.
Oh, that late?
Yeah. It has those 11 towers covered in colorful glazed tiles. Yeah. It looks almost like a fairy tale castle, but the intent was political. It was about asserting Romanian identity in a city that had been Hungarian and Austrian for so long.
Then you have the third one, Piața Libertatea, Liberty Square. It seems like a strange hybrid of the two.
It's the transition point. You have the Baroque statue of St. Mary, but the square itself feels more lived in, more urban. But what I found most interesting in the architectural notes wasn't just the style, but the technology hidden behind it.
You're talking about the streetlights.
I am.
The sources claim Timisoara was the first city in mainland Europe to have electric street lighting. But is that just a fun fact for a trivia night, or does it actually mean something?
Well, it means everything. This was 1884.
Wow.
Think about that. London was still lighting gas lamps. Paris was still largely gas. Timisoara flipped the switch on 731 electric lamps.
So they were tech forward before the major Western capitals.
They were an innovation hub. It implies they had the infrastructure, the engineers, the money to pull that off. It proves this wasn't some sleepy backwater province. It was a wealthy, connected city.
And this connects to that concept in the architectural tours, the secession movement.
The Art Nouveau period, right around 1900. The sources describe a family tree of the middle class here. The buildings weren't just built by the empire. They were commissioned by a rising class of doctors, lawyers, engineers.
Or bourgeoisie.
Precisely. A multicultural bourgeoisie, Hungarians, Germans, Romanians, Jews, living these incredible palaces of rent. They created a civic identity that was cosmopolitan. They looked to Vienna and Budapest, not to the rural East.
Which makes what happened later so much more tragic. You have this family tree of people building a sophisticated society, and then post-World War II, the Iron Curtain just slams down.
And all the colors turn to gray.
Let's jump to 1989. The contrast here is just insane. We've established this city has a history of being independent, wealthy, forward-thinking, but by the late 80s, under Nicolae Ceausescu, Romania is starving.
It was one of the most repressive regimes in the entire Eastern Bloc. And Ceausescu had this obsession with a policy called systematization.
That sounds bureaucratic, but the reality described in the sources is horrific.
It was social engineering via bulldozer. The plan was to demolish historic villages, even parts of cities, and force people into these concrete apartment blocks. The goal was to destroy individual identity, community bonds.
If you destroy the family tree, the home your grandfather built, you destroy the person's sense of self.
Exactly. And that's where the spark comes from. It didn't start in Bucharest, the capital. It started in Timisoara. And it started with an eviction.
The pastor.
Aleks.tourist. He was a Hungarian Reformed pastor. He had been criticizing the regime, speaking out against systematization, reporting human rights abuses to foreign radio stations.
Which, in 1989 Romania, was incredibly dangerous.
The regime decided to silence him. They ordered his eviction from his parish home. On December 16, 1989, the authorities arrived to remove him.
Now, normally in a totalitarian state, the secret police show up, the person disappears, and everyone else just looks at their shoes. But that's not what happened here.
No. His parishioners, just ordinary people, surrounded the house. They formed a human chain to protect him.
And this is the moment where that family tree history matters, right? Because it wasn't just his Hungarian parishioners.
That is the absolute key. Romanians joined them, Serbs joined them, Baptists, Orthodox, Catholics. The multicultural solidarity of the city just kicked in. By the evening, the crowd had grown to thousands.
Wow.
And then the chant changed. They stopped chanting, "Don't evict the pastor," and started chanting, "Down with Ceausescu."
That gives me chills. It went from a local grievance to a revolution in a matter of hours.
The regime panicked. They sent in the army and the security. And this is where we see the tragedy of the defense minister, Vasil Malea.
The sources on him are fascinating. He was the man in charge of the crackdown. But when he was ordered to open fire on the crowds in Timisoara, he hesitated.
The records say he claimed he couldn't find a military regulation that allowed the People's Army to fire on the people. He refused the order to massacre them.
And the next day, the regime announced he had committed suicide.
A very, very suspicious suicide. A bullet to the heart, which conveniently cleared the way for a more ruthless general, Victor Stanculescu, to take over. And then the shooting started.
And this is the part that blows my mind, the shooting didn't work. Usually violence crushes a protest. Here, it seemed to just fuel it.